All right. I think we're live. Welcome, everyone, to our second installment of this year's Friday webinar series. Going on with our theme of growth in today's crazy AI age. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can get found on Google. And actually, it's not just Google, it's also how you can just get found online. We'll be talking about Google because Google is still the 800-pound gorilla in the room. But there's a new kid on the block called Al, or AI for short. And so we're going to talk about how AI optimization works a little bit, some strategies that you can use to help book some more tours, show up for more families, and just generally apply best practices to your own business so that folks can find out about your incredible services. And today, what we'll be doing is going through, I'll introduce myself in a second, but going through some super tactical things. We'll be sharing some resources and hopefully some very actionable things that you can take away from today's webinar. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Sasha Rice. I'm a co-founder here at Playground. I'm also the producer of Early Childhood Investigation. So if you're familiar with that webinar series, I also spend my time doing that. So basically, I just talk on Zoom webinars for a living. That's basically what I do. But so excited that you're all here today. We have an action-packed agenda. So we are breaking it up into 4 parts. We're going to be talking about what SEO actually is and why it matters, why you should be thinking about it. People think about AI and disruption and all this stuff, but like I said before, Google is still the 800-pound gorilla in the room that you have to give respect to, and how most families still find childcare today. So we'll be talking a little bit about how to set up your program on Google, how to make sure that it's optimized, how to make sure that you're showing up in the best possible light, even when families might be leaving less than desirable reviews on your Google profile. It's not the end of the world, I promise you. We'll also be talking about optimizing your website to attract more families. And so specifically, what kind of content should you have on your website to make sure that Google is including it when families are looking up things like childcare near me or best childcare in my area. And then lastly, this is 2026. So we're also going to be talking a little bit about how to show up in AI-powered search results or AI optimization. AEO is another terminology, another acronym that you might hear out there. And so hopefully by the end of this, we'll have a bunch of little tidbits, tips and tricks, a couple of downloadable guides for you all to apply to show up and be more visible online. So let's jump into it. First things first, let's sort of define what SEO is. SEO stands for search engine optimization. A search engine is just Google. It's the engine behind what you look up online and the answers that you get. And so when we talk about search engine optimization, we're talking about optimizing it so that we have the best possible position when people look up something that might be related to our business. Local SEO is SEO specific to a local geographic area. Usually it's a radius within about 5 or 10 miles of where you're at. So you can see on the right side of my screen here, things like childcare near me, if they have their location services on, or infant care in Atlanta, or best NYC care options with openings, whatever it might be. Those are some of the types of searches families might look up. And so local SEO is this process of helping your program show up higher on Google when families are searching for care in your specific area. So we'll be talking about the strategies that will help you rank higher on Google, appear in those searches, and really build credibility before families even land on your website to begin with. So why does this even matter for childcare in the first place? This is something that's a really good question, and it's something that actually should get you really excited about being in childcare. Because of the nature of the services that you provide, you are only really competing with local competitors. Even those big chains, you're only competing with the chain that might be local to you. So for example, like if you in a way that all those crypto ads now exist on during the Super Bowl. Crypto, anyone could buy cryptocurrency from anywhere. Or maybe a better example here is a car commercial you see online. You can go anywhere and buy a Lexus, right? But there's no point in advertising your childcare services for a state half a country away, because you literally have to be there to deliver the services. And so what this means is that local SEO really levels the playing field relative to the other folks in your area, even those really large competitors that you might be competing against. So this is what Google thinks about when it ranks your programs and when it ranks solutions for your families. It first of all looks for relevance. Is this thing what families are asking for? Is this actually what they want? Because Google is incentivized to get clicks and they get people to actually stay on that website. It takes into consideration proximity, so distance. How close are you to the person that's searching? And then credibility, prominence. Google doesn't want to send you to a link that has low trust, that has no reviews, that doesn't have any credibility. So these are the things that you want to start thinking about: relevance, distance, prominence. The distance part is really easy, and we'll talk about how simple of a solution that is for you. But then relevance and prominence are the two pieces that we're going to be talking a lot about today. So the absolute first thing you want to do is make sure that Google knows you are actually nearby. So everyone can create, hopefully most of you in today's webinar have a Google business profile already. It's free to make. This is what pops up when someone looks up your business name on Google Maps. I'm sure everyone is used to a screen like this. If you ever have looked for a restaurant near you, it's the same exact idea. So a really strong profile has to include, of course, your business name. And this should be the business name that you actually go by, not like your official corporate name of Happy Hands Inc.co.llc. Like, just make it the normal in English Happy Hands, right? You want to make sure that you categorize your business well. Childcare center, right? You're not a dog grooming business. You're a childcare center. If families are looking up childcare center near me, that is really, really important. This is something that you can do today. Make sure you have recent, high quality photos on the listing. Far too often, I see programs that have photos from 5 years ago that are blurry, that are don't really show off the facilities or the kiddos having fun. This is something right now that everyone has a phone next to them. These phones are incredible. There's more compute power in these phones than NASA had when they landed someone on the moon. So you can go outside and you can go snap a couple photos right now that I promise will be great. You just upload them to your Google business profile. Google wants to see that you're constantly adding to the profile. Do that today, please. Just add 5 new photos. Even that will make you stand apart relative to everyone else in your area. Reviews. We'll talk a bit more about reviews in a minute. Address, of course, this is the distance part. Make sure it's correct. Hours of operation, just all the basic stuff. Just make sure Google has as much information about your program as possible. Your website, hopefully you have a good website and a phone number. This is what makes a strong profile. Now, reviews are incredibly important. This is one of the biggest drivers of local rankings. And you could do this right now. You could look up, you can open up on an incognito browser and look up best childcare near me, or childcare in Long Island, or whatever it is, best childcare near me or childcare in my area. And you can see, who's at the top, who's in the middle of the pack, who starts to fall off, and how many reviews do folks have. Most of the time, folks don't really have that many reviews. Like, even if you get 30 or 40 reviews, that will put you close to the top of your area. And these reviews they're critical. They help you build trust with families. They improve your prominence in Google. Google in turn will increase the click-through rates, the number of clicks that you get. And this is really, really important. So I want to talk through some tactics that you can use to, actually, before we get there, we'll talk about tactics that you can use to build these reviews. Before I do that, I have a poll that I spoiled, and I'm curious, for folks that may or may not have Google reviews today, answer the poll that just popped up. Have you tried getting Google reviews in the past? What is your biggest challenge with getting more reviews? Is it that you don't know when to ask families? Do you feel awkward asking families? Maybe they say yes, but they forget. You don't have a system to make it easy. Maybe it's all of the above. I would love to understand, because there's a lot of things that you can do here to get extra reviews. These are oftentimes things that just take an extra minute or two out of your day. And these reviews are evergreen. They last forever. So taking a look at the polls here, we have about half of folks here, 50% saying that parents say yes but forget. Classic. You don't know how to ask families, don't have a system in place. At least no one feels awkward asking. Because it's your business, you should never feel awkward asking for someone to review what it's like to work with you. Let's talk a bit more about how to actually get reviews. So we'll hide the poll now. First of all, Google will give you a link that you can share with families. So if you go to the section under Ask for Reviews, that's a shareable link that you can give to families. You can turn that into a QR code and put it onto a flyer. You could go to tinyURL on the screen right here. It's a way to shorten the link itself, so it's much easier to give to families, and makes it way easier for families to actually access it. I think the biggest thing is that it just needs to be easy for families. If you ask someone for a review, make it brainless for them just to tap a button and write what they want to say. The way that you should think about how to get more reviews is, of course, go to your current families today. Go to your best families first. The ones that have had 3 kids go through your program, the ones that absolutely love it, and just say, hey, I've been trying to increase my visibility on Google. I was told I need to get some reviews. Do you mind sharing, your review of our program? And I promise you, 99 out of 100 times, those families will say yes. They absolutely love your program and they want to see you do well. So send them that text. Say, hey, all you have to do is tap this thing and just takes 30 seconds. Fill this out. You can also think about positive moments. I know here it says first week. Usually I like to recommend after the first month or first 60 days or first 90 days. At the end of it, there should be a check-in that goes to them, whether it's a text or an email, or when they pick up, just make sure you're there and say, hey, how are things going? It's great. I'm so glad to hear that. By the way, I usually ask new families after 3 months if they'd be willing to leave a review about what your experience has been like at Happy Hands so far. Would you be open to that? Simple as that. The other thing that I've seen work really well is wherever you have check-in, whether it's with Playground or anything at all, have a QR code printed out with a flyer that says, love our program, leave a review. Or even better, and this is something that I saw work incredibly well, in each classroom that you have, print a flyer with the teacher's name and the teacher's image, and it should say, do you love Mrs. Harmony? Leave a review on Google and include her name. And what this will do is, because sometimes families might not be so motivated to leave a review for the general business, but maybe they absolutely love your infant teacher or your twos teacher. And they say, yes, oh my gosh, like I would love to give Miss Harmony a review. And they go onto Google and they leave a review by name. And that just makes it feel so much more authentic, so much more real. And families are usually much more inclined to do it because they have this relationship with the teacher. And you could have one of these flyers in each one of your classrooms. You can also send out an email to everyone, to all your family, and say, hey, we're doing this thing. We'd love to have some public reviews for our website. Do you mind giving a review on this specific teacher? Of course, use judgment here and make sure it's in a class that's stable and all that good stuff. But just ask and try to make it as personal as possible. We have a free resource here on how you can use Canva to turn your QR code into a marketing tool. And this specific article, excuse me, this specific article is about the enrollment link that you can use in Playground, but you can use the same exact thought and structure for your Google Business Profile review link as well. A QR code is just a visual version of a link. So highly recommend downloading that and building out those flyers. It should take you about 20 minutes to do this, a general one or one with a teacher's face on it. And you can print it out today and just have it posted for your families to see. I promise you'll start to just put these reviews on autopilot. Now, this is a question I get all the time. What do we do if I get a negative review? Usually you're probably not asking a family for a review if you think they're going to give you a negative one, but sometimes families feel so inclined that they have to go and yell from the rooftop. It happens to everyone. Not a big deal. It's just really important that you are responding to all reviews, whether they're positive or negative. So you want to thank the reviewer, you want to personalize the response, and you want to build that trust or achieve a resolution. So for this case here on the left side, right, Leslie said, wonderful teachers, caring environment, my son loves coming here. Great. This is a softball. We just say, thank you so much, not Sarah, thank you so much, Leslie. We love having Liam in our toddler classroom, or you don't have to say the child's name. We love having you as part of this community and appreciate your trust in our team. Wonderful. Then we have, Sarah, we had trouble getting clear communication about schedules. Okay, whatever happens, he said, she said, it's in the past. We just focus on getting a clear resolution here. Thank you for sharing this feedback. Clear communication is incredibly important to us. We'd love to connect directly to better understand your experience and work toward a resolution. Please call us anytime. We're not being combative. We're not trying to fight them on you're right, I'm wrong, whatever it is. We are saying we appreciate the feedback. The thing that you're talking about is important to us. We want to help resolve the situation. Call us whenever it's easy for you. And for a new family that might be evaluating your program, believe me, they understand, unless it's like every single review is like this, they would understand that sometimes people just have weird reactions to stuff. But more importantly, they see a program that owns it, that is trying to resolve it actively, and is asking for continued feedback. And so it's so important, it's imperative, I mixed the word important and imperative. It's important and imperative that you are responding to all your reviews. Okay, those are reviews. Now we're talking about the optimization of your actual website, the content on your website. So the way that, outside of the reviews and the distance to the searcher, the other way that Google has listings show up to your searchers is based off of the relevance of the content itself. So how confident is Google that the search that the person is typing into Google will be answered by your website? And it's really easy to figure out what Google thinks answers what. And so the first step is to figure out what are people even looking up. And so you can literally look up, like you see on the screen here, just type in childcare blank and just let it autofill. Childcare near me, childcare with extended options, childcare near Austin, whatever it is. And then what you could do, what you could do is click on this and see which results are coming to the top first. What does Google think is answering these questions? No, that's not what I want yet. So what you want to be thinking about is if someone wants to find a childcare program with extended hours, does my website say we have great extended hours operating until 6 p.m. every day? If someone's looking for part-time options, do we have something on the website that says childcare, ages 0 through 5, both full-time and part-time options, meals included, infant openings? This is a very simple one, but these are some of the things, the questions that you want to proactively guess as to what families are asking, and make sure that your website answers them somewhere on your homepage. Now, let's do a quick poll. I'm curious, as you're thinking about the goal of your website right now, what do you need your website to do for your program today, right now? Is it to get more tour requests? Is it to build trust faster? Is it to show up higher on Google? Or I need all the things. We just need a better website overall. All right. Questions are coming in. And for whatever it's worth, I think these are all related to each other, right? Showing up higher on Google in order to get more trust, in order to get more tour requests, all that is sort of like a sequential in a lot of ways. But let's take a look at the poll. about even split between tour requests and showing up on Google, just better website overall. And then a couple folks just want to build trust. Okay, this is like a pretty even split, makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the other optimization stuff that can happen here, but I would love to encourage you all. We have a full guide on marketing a childcare program, sort of from top to bottom. This is completely free, something that our team put together last year and has worked really well for a lot of our folks that we work with. You could just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link, the button that showed up. We also put the link into the chat if you want to download this, but a little free tidbit for you all. Cool. So the piece that's really important here is maintaining consistency across all platforms in terms of the content. So you want to have like these really small things consistent: name, address, phone number. Remember I said before, like, we want to make sure that it's all in English. And when I say English, I mean like colloquial English, like the way that you would call your business, Happy Hands Preschool, not Happy Hands Preschool Inc. or LLC or whatever it is. And everywhere that you exist online, Google Business Profile, Facebook, Yelp, Bing, LinkedIn, whatever it is, you want to make sure it's the same exact listing every single time. And I'm going to click on this thing right here. These small differences matter, right? So street versus street, ST, road versus road. You want to make sure that things are incredibly consistent. You want to leave zero room for doubt, either for your families or for Google. And these are the things that are completely free, right? This is stuff that you can do today, right now, in 5 minutes, and that will make you better than a fraction of the folks in your area already. These are just things you want to have on a checklist. Okay, now this is the last part, really the cherry on top here, is that more and more folks are starting to use AI as their version of Google. As families get younger and younger, this is what's going to happen. I'll tell you guys, I have an iPhone, and you have like the 4 apps at the bottom of your screen. I have my texting, my music, my email, and it used to be I had Safari there, but I swapped it out with ChatGPT. So now my default is to go to ChatGPT instead of to go to Safari. And I think more and more folks are going to start doing that, as we're seeing AI is having a crazy moment right now, and it has absolutely no signs of stopping. So the same way that we think about SEO, we have one more thing on our plate, which we all love, and that's answer engine optimization, AEO. So making sure that we're structuring our website, the content on our website, so that AI tools like the AI overviews on Google or ChatGPT or Claude or whatever tool that you use can easily find, understand, and elevate your content in search results. So the big difference here is that SEO helps you rank in results, whereas AEO helps your website show up as the actual answer. So when someone says, hey, I'm looking for childcare in West LA, rather than saying, here are 4 options that you could look at, it just says, Happy Hands Preschool is a top-rated option. They have a Montessori pedagogy and are known for having super flexible hours. And it's just, boom, great, learn more. So AI generally values websites that can clearly answer those questions, use simple formatting, so just the way that you speak English, don't overcomplicate things, and are really easy to scan and understand. So when we say optimize for AI, people sometimes think, oh gosh, like I don't have time to make all this new content. And it's not necessarily about making more content. It's about making the content that already exists today clearer. You want to make sure that you're answering the questions that families have proactively. And all of you know what those questions are already. And I think you're probably looking at me saying, like, what do you mean? We can't read our families' minds. Think about all the questions that you've ever been asked on a tour. I bet there are less than 100 total types of unique questions you could probably have been asked before. If you make sure, and I think even 100 is a lot, there's probably like 30 that you get asked every single time, and then maybe another like 30 that you'll get asked every few. And as long as your website can answer, especially those top 30 questions that you get during every single tour or every single time you're talking to a prospective family, you're going to be in a really, really, really good spot relative to your competition. So the way that you think about it is I would look at Google, right? The people also ask section. So look up childcare near me, and then you scroll down a little bit, and there's a people also ask section. There's going to be like 5 or 6 options, and you could click into it and see what other questions are people asking. What does Google or what does the AI give them? Where is it sourcing that information? And just look at how those questions are being answered. You could do this literally right now as we're talking. Open an incognito browser and look up again childcare near me, and then just look at the questions under people also ask. What you want to start doing is you want to put your investigator hat on, your little spy right now, and you want to go to those existing pages, figure out what part of the page Google is taking and saying, hey, like this paragraph is the answer to this question. And you want to take that and make sure that that's also in your website. And I'm not saying copy word for word. I'm just saying make sure that the way that they're answering that question, you have a similar way of answering it in your own, make it relevant to your own business, of course. So when we're thinking about reworking these pages, there's we call it like the inverted pyramid approach. Ta-da. You want to make sure that those questions that are most of the time sourced by ChatGPT or Google is as high up on your page as possible. So things like childcare near me, childcare with flexible hours, childcare for infants, all those things that come up all the time that have high search volume. You want to make sure that when Google or when ChatGPT looks at your website, it's one of the first things it sees, because then it tells it, oh wow, yes, this is the correct place to be. We are in the right spot. There's probably more good content for us here. And so you want to make sure that you are first and foremost just answering those questions. So childcare in Austin for infants. And then later on, you could have a section with context and details and all this stuff about what that actually means, your infant program. You can explain in depth what makes it so special. But you want to make sure that at a high level, very quickly, those questions are answered. Cool. And this is, by the way, this is something that is an iterative approach. It's not something that you do once and that's it. Like, it's something that you do once, you wait a couple of weeks, and you continue to revisit it. And I think I should preface all of this by saying that this kind of stuff can take a second. It's not something that's immediate just because you're making all your Google profile settings look great today. Doesn't mean that tomorrow you're going to get 50 new leads. This is something that you have to build trust and show that you're active and thoughtful over time. And over time, the search engines will reward you. So I should mention that and preface that there is a grain of salt here that you should be applying. That, again, it's not going to be an expectation where things just change overnight. That being said, if you target the right things for the specific kinds of volume, then things can start to look really good. So here are some best practices. When you're answering those questions, those really important questions, you want to make sure that these are short, quick, to the point, right? Between 40 and 60 words. You don't need a full essay. So, like, again, like that infant program, you can answer it in a sentence or two. You want to use bullet points or lists when you can, right? Make it really easy to scan. You want to keep your paragraphs short and scannable. Sometimes I see folks with websites that have just walls of text. And I'm talking like Game of Thrones style wall, just humongous. No one wants to read that. Humans don't want to read that, and agents don't want to read that. You want to make it scannable, short, concise. You want to make sure that you are using really good, consistent headings. So this is a little bit technical, but you want to make sure that for the titles on your sites, there's only one H1, and this is, again, I'm going to get a little bit technical here, but the HTML tag that's applied to your text has to follow a specific hierarchy, right? The title has to be told that this is the title, and then it goes down from there. So H1s, H2s, H3s. And the other piece is clarity matters more than completeness. You don't need to have a web page that ends up being 5 chapters long and everything crammed into one place. Having short, concise, clear answers will reward you much more than having incredibly exhaustive text on a page. A lot of website platforms, by the way, support a lot of this stuff out of the box. So like even if you use a Squarespace or a Wix, you can set your H1s and your H2s and H3s. For Playground, our websites do the same thing. The structure is built with this in mind, so that it's not something you have to think about. The technical side of things are just taken care of really well. And I know that this is quite a lot. I know that there's a lot to think about. One thing that we do is we fully design, develop, and manage websites specifically for childcare. So focusing on helping families find you, so ranking higher on Google, but then also taking the next step, converting that traffic into actual leads that get nurtured through our CRM. These are websites that have been tried and tested. They are built with Google visibility in mind, AI-friendly structure. We have lead capture forms and automations that then text the families reminders for their tours and all kinds of stuff like that. So if you want to just like give us your website, let us manage it. We're happy to. If you'd rather just focus on your program, we can handle the website for you. You could scan the QR code or click on the link in the chat to learn a bit more. And this is all part of our entire platform. So for those that don't know, Playground is the only software that a childcare program needs to run and grow. And so a big part of that is the platform that not only handles your billing and attendance and communication, but also the growth side of things. And the big reason that we do all of this is our mission is to make excellent childcare accessible to all. Playground was born because my co-founders and I built this initially for my co-founder's mom. She ran a center for 26 years. It had nearly 300 kiddos in it. And she was finding herself spending so much time just bogged down in administrative work. She was just in her office during pickup and drop off. She wasn't able to spend enough time in the classrooms working with teachers, building relationships with families, seeing families face to face or supporting the kiddos. And so she came to us and said, "Hey, I'm spending way too much time on this admin work, things that need to happen for the business to run, but I don't get much pleasure or energy working on. Can you help me?" And so our background is in building apps and websites. And so the result is Playground. We built what is now Playground for her way back when, and it worked really well. And her friends who use Playground, her friends who ran programs said, "Hey, what's that app? We want to use it." And it kind of went from there and snowballed from there to the point where now we're supporting thousands and thousands of programs and hundreds of thousands of families, which has been really, really cool. And so for us, we do everything. So it's not just the marketing side, but also payroll and billing and paperwork and communication and food program, and really all the things that you need to run a program. So if you are interested in learning a bit more, you can scan the QR code or go to our website, tryplayground.com. Today, this QR code that's on the screen right now is our optimization checklist. So walking you through, hey, what have I done so far? What's good? And then where are the opportunities to grow right now in terms of optimizing for Google and optimizing for AI. So it's completely free. Our team put it together for you all, hopefully to learn a little bit. You could scan the QR code that's on the screen, or you could just go to our website, tryplayground.com, to learn a little bit more. And that's all I got for you guys. Otherwise, it's been an absolute pleasure spending this Friday afternoon with you all. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was actionable, and I hope that it's something that you can use in the future to grow. Now, if anyone has questions, we're here. We're happy to help. You can just reach out, and we'd be more than happy to support or answer any of your questions. And then specifically, if you want to learn a bit more about the capturing of leads that come to your website, we have a whole lot of tooling for that as well. So that all being said, thank you all so much for your time today. We'll hopefully hear from you soon. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you all so much. Talk soon.